Alright, so with the 8th year anniversary approaching very soon on Global Dokkan, I figured what better time than now to do an anniversary tier list. Because also Dokkan is pretty dry right now, not really a whole lot going on because, of course, you know, it's right before the anniversary, so typically things get pretty dry. But again, figured what better time to do an anniversary tier list because also I did want to talk about the 8th year anniversary for a little because I feel like a lot of people are saying it's very underwhelming, but I do want to put this out there. It's a good celebration. Definitely a lot of content, had some of the craziest EZA units with obviously the 5th year anniversary LRs, and also the headlining units were, you know, definitely very good. But before we get into it, I do want to mention for the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd year anniversary, I didn't technically play, so I guess my opinion on those maybe don't take too seriously because I wasn't actually there to experience it. But yeah, without further ado, I guess we can just go ahead and get started. So for the 1st year anniversary, I'm going to go ahead and put it in A tier. It definitely was a good anniversary to kick off Dokkan. I mean, it was a good celebration overall. But because it was their 1st year anniversary, of course, in terms of content, they were lacking on a lot of stuff. But I do think it's worth mentioning, which it's kind of funny saying this, I'm pretty sure this was the first anniversary, and the only anniversary, to have an extreme class unit headlining, which is pretty crazy to think about, for part 1, by the way, because I know for the 5th year anniversary, there was Broly and Goku Black for part 2, but for part 1, we had a Dokkan Fest Janemba, and I think that's the only time we had a part 1 extreme class unit headlining, which is definitely a bad thing, right? We want more extreme class units, so I really hope they start doing this again, but unfortunately, this was the only anniversary they did it. And there was only 200 free stones, which is crazy to think about now, but I'm sure back then that was very useful. And there was top grossing. Look at that, 49 stones. So definitely a good celebration overall. You know, for the 1st year anniversary, it introduced a lot of stuff and had some pretty hype units. But overall, nothing insane. So I think A tier is pretty fair. And then now moving on to the 2nd year anniversary. I would give this an A tier as well, but I would give it like a high A tier. So I would say it's better than the 1st year anniversary, obviously just because, you know, more content, more free stuff. But briefly looking over it, this celebration was really hype, you know, 2 Super Saiyan 4s headlining, definitely very good. I know we got Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, the LR one for it as well. So overall, you know, a lot of new characters, a lot of really crazy characters at the time as well. You know, you got a world tournament, look at that, 15th world tournament. That's how you know how long ago that was. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of cool stuff, you know, a lot of content. Let me check the free stones really quick because I'm curious. For the 2nd year anniversary, how many free stones were there? Wow, 370 free stones for the celebration. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely better than the 1st year anniversary because it was only like 200, but still, that's just very low because, you know, for big celebrations now, we're expecting like well over 1,000. So it's just interesting to look at this number. And I don't think there was top grossing. Yeah, I think they just gave out some free stones. Or wait, no, there was. So 56 Dragon Stones you got, and then... Oh, so wait, there was a total of 112 Dragon Stones. Dude, that's pretty crazy for top grossing. All right, so no, there definitely was top grossing, but yeah, overall a good celebration. You know, Super Saiyan 4s, you had a couple LRs. There was also the Legendary Election, which I'm pretty sure, okay, yeah, it just pulls up the image. I don't know if I can like click on this and it'll show me, but I'm pretty sure that was when we got to choose like what LR we wanted to see next, and we're still expecting some of the LRs on that list, right? I know we already got most of them, but I know Vegito Blue won, and then that's why we got the free-to-play Vegito Blue. So it's definitely pretty cool Dokkan did that. I kind of hope they do this in the future because I think this was really smart and it made the community feel more involved in the game. And then for the 3rd year anniversary, I'm going to go ahead and give this S tier. So this was the first anniversary to introduce Dokkan Fest LRs, which these guys were insane, by the way. On release, they were crazy and they aged very well. Unfortunately, their EZA wasn't as good, you know, but I mean, still, on release, they were really crazy and they were really good for a couple years following their release, right? They were very good aging LRs. So I think definitely a good way to start off, you know, the trend of Dokkan Festival LRs. And again, you know, a solid celebration. We have the type banners right here as well. So definitely pretty good. And then as normal, you know, some extra XP and just a lot of other things we typically get for anniversaries. So definitely a good celebration. Again, Dokkan Festival LRs. What else was in it? I'm assuming there was a part 2 and all that. Yeah, there was. So for part 2, we got all of these banners returning. Damn, really? They just brought back all the legendary summon banners? Okay, I guess. I mean, I'm assuming nobody summoned on them, but interesting. And then this was this the Ginyu Force? Yeah, it was the free-to-play Ginyu Force. Okay, so this anniversary introduced that as well, which these guys were really crazy for a while. So yeah, between the free-to-play Ginyu Force, between the, you know, Dokkan Festival LRs and everything, I would say overall this is definitely a solid S tier. And then now moving on to the 4th year anniversary. So I'm gonna give this Z tier, because 4th year anniversary was really, really crazy for a lot of people. This was the first anniversary, I think, that really was like actually good in terms of content. Like there was a lot to do. Of course, the new banners were really hype. Of course, you had Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. And this was also the first anniversary to actually have like a Part 2 LR that really fit the theme of Part 1 and just actually made sense. So definitely good there as well. You had LR Baby and then the LR GT Trio. So, fit Part 1 and also, cool to finally get Baby in the game as an LR. And here we are, a couple of years later, we're going to get him up as a Carnival LR. Which, speaking of, I really hope this guy's EZA is good. Because he has a lot of potential. I mean, dude, he's on the worst teams ever. Like Inhuman Deeds, GT Bosses, all that stuff. Just so bad, right? Those teams suck. So if this guy's really good with his EZA, that'd be pretty crazy. But anyway, sorry, kind of sidetracked there. So overall, good celebration. Like I said, 4th year anniversary was one of the first anniversaries to actually really step up the game in terms of content. I guess we can check out the Dragon Stones too. Yeah, look at that, 934. So definitely very good. Yeah, there was a couple top grossing rewards. So yeah, again, overall, good celebration. That's why I think Z tier does definitely work. But anyway, moving on to the 5th year anniversary. You all knew I was going to put it in Z tier. This anniversary was just peak, bro. I mean, obviously headlining Blue Gogeta and Blue Vegito. You can't really go wrong with that, right? I mean, it's bound to be a good celebration just because of how hyped the headlining units are. And I mean, look, for the 8th year anniversary, when they got their EZA, that was probably the highlight of the 8th year anniversary for a lot of people, just because they got their EZA, right? So definitely some really hype units. This was the first anniversary to introduce like this large multi-summon as well, which definitely is very good, right? Just free characters, a free LR actually. So that definitely is good, especially that it's free. And then, of course, just a lot of content here and there. It definitely wasn't lacking in terms of content. I think this introduced skill orbs as well, if I'm not mistaken. Free-to-play units were pretty decent. I remember the Goku Black was pretty good once he had his EZA. I think this was the first LR to get an EZA also. So that's another thing to keep in mind with the 5th year anniversary. Something new that it introduced. So, overall, a lot of content, a lot of stuff. Part 2 definitely was pretty good as well. You had the Goku Black and Broly, who I think Goku Black was like just the best unit in the game when he came out. So, I guess there's that. And then for Part 3, I forget what came out. There was this guy's Extreme Z area, Infinite History, and then that's it. Okay, so Part 3 was little lacking, but overall, very good celebration. Again, a Blue Gogeta and Blue Vegito, can't really go wrong with that. That's why I think Z tier is pretty fair. And then we have the 6th year anniversary. I'm going to go ahead and slide this in S tier as well, because 6th year anniversary, for me personally, was really hype. It was an Ultra Instinct Goku and a Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. Similar to the 5th year anniversary, you can't really go wrong with these choices as, anniversary units. But this did introduce the Tons of Thanks tickets, which is definitely very good, right? This is basically a shot at getting the headlining units just completely for free, so that definitely is a good thing. And also, again, a lot of good content. Instead of 55 unit multi, now it's 66, and it'll continue to do that until I think the 8th year anniversary, where it just stays at 77. And then, of course, you got the Red Stone, you got the Purple Stone if you want to spend some money. And just a lot of content here and there. I mean, I'm not going to go over, every individual thing the anniversary had to offer. But, like this, the God event, I mean, this was really important. This was a really fun event as well. So that definitely was good. And then just, again, a lot of stuff sprinkled here and there, right? But before we move on, I do want to mention this was the first anniversary to introduce the Dokkan Festival EZA. Yeah, with this guy right here, the Int UI Goku. And his EZA was actually pretty good as well. Even now, he's very useful because, of course, he's got dodge built into his kit. And if a unit's dodging, obviously makes him good, regardless of how power crept they are, just because, obviously, a chance to dodge is a chance to take no damage whatsoever. And then Part 3, definitely very good. We had the EZA for the LR Goku and Frieza. Still, I mean, a very flashy unit. They're not necessarily good, but their animations, to me, still look pretty solid. So, definitely a good EZA. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it for the anniversary. So again, good anniversary overall. That's why I think S tier is pretty fair. But in terms of how they designed their units, I was a little disappointed. Their free-to-play units were very good. But Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta, I don't know, I feel like he was a little lacking now, looking in advanced. Also the Part 2 LRs, so I'm referring to the Int 17 and then the Physical 17 and Frieza. They weren't really that good either, looking at it in advance now. So I feel like the design on some units could have been a little bit better, especially the headlining units, which you really don't want because those are like the main hitters of the anniversary. But it still is what it is overall, good celebration. So I think S tier is pretty fair. But now moving on to the 7th year anniversary. So again, just like the 5th year anniversary, obviously Z tier. I would say 7th year anniversary is probably the community's favorite. It's either that or 5th year. So definitely, it's a good celebration, right? So we had Part 1, which was really good. Obviously 2 new LRs, they were crazy. Even now they're crazy. They were like by far the best unit in the game when they came out too, because you got to keep in mind at the time, the best units in the game were still, AGL LR Frieza. We had AGL UI Goku, Int Namek Goku. Those are like the best units in the game at the time. So when these guys came out, it was over, right? And then once again, obviously now it's 77 free multi instead of 66. We had the free tickets, a lot of free stuff, right? We had the redstone and purple stone as well. We had these free-to-play units, all 3 of these, which I think this is probably the worst anniversary in terms of free-to-play units, just because they all kind of suck, right? I mean, even 8th year, I would say, is better, because at least LR Bobbity does have the standby, and then Hercule has the revive, so those things are very useful. But all 3 of these guys just kind of suck. I mean, I guess maybe there's an argument for Goku and Chi-Chi being decent, because they do have that active skill where I think they just get like a Ghost Usher, which is definitely good, but other than that, I don't know, man. These free-to-play units just kind of sucked, right? But we had a Skill Orb event. This introduced Red Zone, probably like the best event in Dokkan right now. Everybody really loves it. It's a lot of fun. It's very difficult as well. So definitely very good. Which, speaking of, hope they start doing more of these. We've kind of had a stop in like all Red Zone content, which kind of sucks. I mean, we got like a little bit of Red Zone stages following, obviously, 7th year anniversary, right? We had some for, I think, Worldwide right after. We had the Red Ribbon Army Red Zone stages, but they kind of gave up on it for some weird reason. So maybe for Worldwide, hopefully we can get some new Red Zone stages. New missions for the legendary events, definitely very good. And just overall, good part 1. For part 2, of course, we did have the Easy A's. Some of the best Easy A's even now. The Tech God Goku is still crazy useful. This guy right here. Gogeta was alright, and then these 2. They were alright. I mean, they weren't crazy. This Vegeta, he kind of needs to guard. This guy needs to build up. So there was definitely flaws in their kits. And then we got some new stages added to the Red Zone event. We got some new legendary event missions. And then, yeah, we got the Part 2 LR Goku and Vegeta. I mean, they were alright. At the time, on release, they were really crazy, especially this Goku. The amount of damage he did was just insane. But now, they're decent. I guess the Vegeta can be pretty solid in World Tournament. This Goku can be decent if you're trying to do a lot of damage, but other than that, there's probably just better options than them. And then moving on to Part 3, this was definitely really crazy as well. We had the EZA for the 3rd year anniversary LRs. As I mentioned earlier, their EZA wasn't insane, I guess, but on release for their EZA, it was definitely very impressive because they were some of the best units in the game at the time. We had more stages to Red Zone events, and then we got these right here, which were pretty good, just free units. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So definitely very good for Part 3, and then Part EX, which I really hope they start doing again. We had the EZA for the 4th year anniversary LRs, some pretty solid EZAs. The free-to-play Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr., and that was pretty much it. So for Part EX, actually, it was pretty good, just because, more content than we thought, right? Can't really be disappointed by something you didn't even know you were getting. But between the crazy EZAs, the actually really good amount of content, and the really hype headlining LRs, it was bound to be a very good celebration. So that's why I think Z tier definitely fits it. And then finally, we have the 8th year anniversary. So, okay. I'm not going to put this in Z tier because I think all of these anniversaries are better. I'm not going to put it in A tier because I think it's definitely more than A tier. So I think S tier is actually pretty perfect. Now, of course, if you directly compare like the 8th year anniversary to the 4th year anniversary, 8th year anniversary is better. But I would have the 4th year anniversary above 8th year anniversary because, for the time 4th year came out, it was definitely really good. It did kind of lay the blueprint for future anniversaries. So I think the impact it had was definitely a lot more significant than 8th year. So that's why I would put it above. But 8th year was still a very good celebration, right? For Part 1, of course, we had the Z Duo and GT Duo. Very good units. GT Duo still probably one of the best units in the game right now, if not arguably the best. And then, of course, these units introduced the standby skill, which definitely a very, cool ability, very useful. I really want to see a fusion unit with the standby skill. I think that would be really cool. Maybe possibly Vegito for Worldwide. And then we got the 77 unit multi, so as you can see, they stopped at 77 because this is the 8th year anniversary, so technically this should be 88 unit multi, but I guess maybe that would be too generous. So 77, still very good, very useful, right? Free LRs. And then, of course, we got a lot of other free stuff, free redstone, we got the purple stone, which you got to pay for. And then we've got the free-to-play units right here. These guys aren't really good either, but I guess they're somewhat solid. Maybe LR Bobbity can be pretty good because I think he's a support. The physical Hercule can be decent because he has the revive, but other than that, they're really not that good. And then, of course, we had another Skill Orb event. And then we have this difficult event right here. It's like the Shadow Dragon stages or something. It's a good event, right? The last stage, I guess, technically is the hardest fight in the game, but it's not by, like, a landslide. So it's definitely fun, but it's not, like, anything crazy. It's not like Red Zone, right? I'll say that. We had the Easy A's for the Physical Vegito and then the STR Boo. Physical Vegito's Easy A wasn't really that great. Boo's Easy A was really good, so I guess that's pretty good. And then that's pretty much it for Part 1. Now, it is worth mentioning, we did also get some free guaranteed link level up keys as well, so definitely very good, just free stuff. Obviously makes an anniversary pretty good. And then for part 2, we had the easy A's for these guys. Blue Kaioken Goku was really good. This guy's easy A was decent. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it could have been a little bit better. And then what else did we have? Just a lot of other free stuff. We had new stages added to these events. We had this, which I think this was a link level up thing. Yeah, it was. So obviously just, you know, more ways to link level. Definitely very good. We had an infinite history. I guess every super strike was available every day. Yeah, we had World Tournament returned, which was interesting. I don't know if we're going to get that on Global, but for JP, technically there was a World Tournament in the middle of the anniversary. And then we had the 2 Carnival LRs. The Goku's really good. The Gohan is good, but not as good. Arguably one of the least hype units in the game, which is crazy because it's part 2 anniversary unit. But still, really good units. Their animations are really clean. I love their animations. I feel like a lot of people don't like them, but I think they're perfectly fine. I don't know, though. If I'm being honest, I think an LR Kid Buu and Omega Shenron just made more sense than these guys, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. Like I mentioned, you know, you had the World Tournament, and then that was pretty much it for part 2, so definitely, you know, good amount of content, but I think maybe, you know, a couple things could have changed here and there. And then for part 3, we had these guys, Easy A, you know, highlight of the anniversary in my opinion. Their Easy A was crazy, and it definitely is really hype. They also got new OSTs, which I thought was very interesting. I think that's the first time we saw that in an Easy A. So definitely a good thing there. You know, I had Chain Battle. And then there was also the Easy A for the LR Bobby and then the Hercule. Again, their Easy A wasn't insane. There's a Burst Mode, which I love Burst Mode, so definitely a good thing. And then that's all it shows here, but there was also another event where you could get skill orbs for all the anniversary LRs. I guess that was technically part EX, right? I don't think it was called part EX, but it was like some content at the very, very end of part 3. So it was like kind of a part EX, but it's not up here, so I guess you're just gonna have to take my word for it. But including everything, the celebration was definitely very good. I just think if you compare it like directly to 7th year, which was before it, it definitely does fall a little bit short, which is weird because, again, that was the anniversary before 8th year. So this is my list. Obviously, a lot of them are very good. None of these anniversaries are outright bad. So all of them, I would say, are, you know, A tier and above. Hence why I put them in this order, because they're all very good, right? None of these, again, are bad anniversaries. Some of them are just a little bit more disappointing than others. So yeah, that has been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't take my opinion too seriously. Again, I haven't even played through some of these anniversaries, so it's just my opinion at the end of the day. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.